All right. Hey, Yanni, I've brought back Mr. Midnight Owl for this episode.
Welcome back, Mr. Midnight Owl.
Hey, glad to be back.
So, I don't know if you guys have been paying much attention, but there is something happening worldwide which has pushed a lot of movies back on their release dates.
What?
Yep. Movie theaters are closed and they don't seem to be reopening at the scale that they were before. So, we've already discussed how Wonder Woman was pushed back. We've looked at how Dune is possibly getting pushed back. But the question our fans want to know is what is happening to Mortal Kombat? So I might have some information for you guys on that.
Do tell.
Okay, so Todd Gardner, who of course we all know is the producer for the new Mortal Kombat movie, he has released a new tweet. And along with this tweet, we've seen various other cast and crew members who have gone back and have started doing reshoots for the upcoming movie. His newest tweet says, "Well, I thought by the cast's social media, you would have figured out we're shooting a few more days. We'd also planned for it and thought we'd do it in March. The pandemic had other plans. We won't have a release date for the movie until theaters reopen. Same for the trailer." So basically, we don't have a release date anymore, and we don't even know when we're going to be receiving a trailer at this point.
Ouch. But expected.
Yeah.
There's actually two good bits of news in that tweet. The first off is the fact that he said that the film won't be released until theaters reopen. So that's already, for now at least, they are committed to getting this into theaters. It's not going to go to HBO Max. It's not going to go direct to video. It's not going to be on any sort of streaming. So that's good news in itself that they are committed to getting this into theaters. The other good bit of news is just the fact that he said that they're shooting more footage. Todd Gardner, before on Twitter, had said there is a difference between reshoots and additional photography. So it's sounding more like they're just doing additional material for the movie.
A lot of our fans were concerned when they first saw that reshooting was going to be occurring. They were worried that this was a bad position for the movie as a whole. However, that's not necessarily true, is it?
No, it just depends on what type of reshooting. I mean, also the fact that Todd Gardner said it was just a few days. So usually if there's issues with the production, you'll see them go back for several weeks, maybe a month or more. So the fact that they're only going for a few days, they probably already lined up exactly what they need to get done. So they're just jumping back on location, on the sets, getting what they needed, and then they're going home.
Yeah, that's good.
I think you mentioned as well in a couple of previous episodes that, reshoots are completely normal and we were expecting them. So it's obviously just that they were sort of delayed in being able to actually do them.
Yeah, one of the things that Todd Gardner had mentioned, and it's really hard to get out of that when you use proper terminology, but it sounds like they're doing additional photography versus reshooting. Reshooting is when either something didn't work out or you didn't get enough coverage, or just in the editing process, you know that certain beats don't work. So then you have to go back and reshoot those scenes so that they're better. Whereas additional photography means that they might be enhancing a scene, such as the 1995 movie where they extended the scorpion fight scene and they also added the reptile fight. But yeah, that's mainly the big difference. Is it sounds like Gardner's saying that they're only enhancing the movie rather than going back and reshooting stuff that didn't work over.
One big concern that I have heard being raised, though, is that doing reshoots so late at this point may have an impact on the final quality of the movie. For example, Mehcad Brooks, who's going to be playing Jax, he, had a certain physique that he had achieved in order to play Jax. Perhaps he looks completely different at this point, which may be evident in any reshoots that they're creating if they are bringing back him. And this is the same for all the actors. They could all have a different look to them at this point.
Yeah, that's always completely possible. It just depends on the type of shots that they're trying to get. There's ways around it too. I don't think it'll be as blatant as, say, Enter the Dragon, where Bruce Lee was continually changing his body throughout the entire shoot of the movie, or in cases like the 1994 Street Fighter movie with Rael Julia and his unfortunate passing or even some of the reshoots like the last Fantastic Four. That was notorious for having the entire second half of the movie reshot. And I believe the actress that played Susan Storm, she actually had to wear a wig because originally it was blonde hair and then she changed it, so they put a wig on her. I don't think you'll see anything crazy like that. And again, if they're as talented as what I believe they are, I think they can pull through even with different physiques, because it's going to come down to the type of scenes that they're doing additional footage for.
Talking about the Rael Julia thing, that brings up a great point, because he was battling through cancer, wasn't he, while they were filming Street Fighter?
Yeah, the problem with Rael Julia is he had gone through his treatments, and then when he had arrived on set, he was actually very underweight, very sickly, and it was after his treatment during the filming that he started to gain his weight back to actually appear healthier. So what they did was they had moved around a lot of the fight scenes to accommodate that, because they wanted to make sure that he was healthy enough to do the more strenuous scenes that he was going to be required to do. So that was also part of the problems with the production, is some of the people were being trained on their fight scenes the day of. So there was a lot of issues with that. Some really great videos out there that kind of highlight the issues with that film. And thankfully, it doesn't sound like we've had any issues anywhere near that type of movie. And it's unfortunate about Rael Julia, but it was nice that you can kind of see some scenes where he does have a different weight to him. But overall, they did a really good job of trying to frame his scenes around the fact that he unfortunately had cancer.
So I know that all the fans are pretty impatient. I mean, in a way, understandably so, but at the same time, we all do have to remember that there is a global crisis going on right now. The delay really is affecting the trailer, and people are demanding to get a trailer or to get some sort of look at the movie. Do you think that this is even possible, considering the fact that they're doing such reshoots and possibly more, or would it just be smarter for them to wait until they have more of a final product ready to show us?
It could go either way, to be honest. They're obviously going to have enough footage to create a trailer out of it. According to Todd Gardner, they're only going to do additional filming for several days. So they have the footage needed to make the trailer. I think it's just coming down to, I really don't know. You know, I don't have a front seat to the kind of corporate meetings that go on, and every movie studio is different on how they handle projects. And you can even see how a studio handles different projects under the same roof, because we've already had trailers for Wonder Woman, hell, we've had a trailer for The Batman, and that's not coming out till 2022 now. So I can understand why fans are getting irritated by them not having material, any marketing material for Mortal Kombat. But I don't have any answers for that, but they could easily get a trailer done up. It's probably just coming down to the priorities of the studio with some of their really big budget movies versus Mortal Kombat, which is more of a moderate budget. And hopefully they'll start releasing material, even if it's just a 1 minute teaser that kind of gets people pumped up. But I'm sure they actually have a marketing plan. It just hasn't been initiated yet.
Yeah, it seems like it hasn't even been kicked off in any way at all. They've just kind of been sitting on whatever their plan is, which, I mean, is kind of expected, because we've seen movies like Wonder Woman, which they kicked off their marketing plan, and now they're at a point where they keep delaying this movie and nobody is able to see anything new from it, and there's nothing new that we're getting from it. And so the hype is kind of dying down for Wonder Woman 84. And they started to do that with Dune too, it seemed, because they thought that they had some established release dates, and now that also is getting pushed back. So in a sense, I mean, this is probably for the better that Mortal Kombat is getting delayed in this way, so that we can get the full hype, so that we can be excited for it when they finally do start releasing material for it.
Yeah, I think actually sort of lowering expectations or lowering hype right now is a good move, because obviously you can't generate the hype and then continue it for such a long period of time with no news, right? So if you do, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. I believe that it's good to throw out bits of information once in a while. Make sure that people understand that, hey, we have a crisis going on right now. We can't exactly give you as much as we hoped to. We hope you're understanding. And when the time comes, then generate the hype at a point where they can actually sustain it through to the end. I think the most important thing is just making sure that there is that stream of communication between them and the fans, right? The people who are actually excited. Yes, we all have to be excited in a way because it's like, hey, it's Mortal Kombat. I'm excited for it. I want to see it. But at the same time, I'm at that stage where it's like, yes, I'd love news on it. When I hear news, I'm ready to go crazy. But I understand that I'm not going to be getting a lot of news for a while. You know what I mean?
You know, the fact that they are waiting for theaters to reopen, as Mr. Midnight Owl said earlier, that's a great step because, as he said, that means that we are still getting a full theater production, a full theater release. Some people might ask that we get HBO Max or an online release or something like that. But if that were the case, this movie might not succeed the way that it needs to in order to get further Mortal Kombat movies and further Mortal Kombat properties released out into the public. Because we saw with Disney's Mulan, that movie did not do very good. And overall, I think this is a good step.
I believe the Mulan thing was due to a lot of other factors as well, though. But yeah,
that's true.
I believe that it would have been a great move if they'd handled it properly. But at the same time, it is obviously quite a huge risk. Obviously, in cinemas would be better. And yeah, I guess just gotta wait till they open up again. Thanks for joining us for this Tarkatan Bitesize episode, Mr. Midnight Owl. It's great to have you back. Hopefully, we have you back sometime very soon with hopefully some news as well. To the listeners, thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think of what's happening with the movie situation. Are you expecting a lot more communication? Are you expecting some content? Are you understanding of what's going on right now? Let us know. Please like, follow, subscribe to stay up to date with our videos. Thank you.